So I had a really big video and forgot to push the record button. That's, you know, videography with Roz. um, so I had someone ask today whether these violent protests were justified. And that's an interesting question because on the face it looks like a very simple question. It's either yes or no. But um it's not simple. It's not simple because when we talk about just, we talk about something that is fair, right? We're talking about balancing the scales, right? Um and so the response to Mr. Floyd's murder, um, or the murder rather of Mr. Floyd, and the response of violence and looting, I think we have to ask ourselves, if we're talking about justice, how much money is one life worth? And I think if we can answer that question, we can decide how much property damage is allowed to be done in response to a person having his life snuffed out by a rogue cop. Now, I believe in the inherent value of all life. I mean, I hope we all do. And I don't know, I can't put a price on that. So, you know, it it's unclear to me how someone can say, "Oh, these things were not justified. This violence and this looting were not justified." I mean, I hear you. It makes logical sense. But this is an illogical situation. Okay? This is Mr. Floyd is one in a long list of people who have been killed since 2013 when we started keeping track of people who have been killed by either rogue police officers, law enforcement officers, or others standing their ground, protecting their neighborhood, you know, using their privilege. And, and, if we stack all those lives up, you know, how much are they worth? How many dollars of property value, property, stuff, merchandise are they worth? And I don't think we can answer that question. And um, so there's that. We can't put a value on human life. Okay? That's point number one. Point number two. This is, again, a person in a long list of people who have been killed for benign acts, not criminal acts, uh, based on their race. And in large, America has done nothing, uh, and the people in power have power to do it. And really, they're the only ones who have the power to do it. You know, and what are we doing? We're saying, you know, we're saying, well, I can't believe people are sullying the legacy of Mr. Floyd by destroying property in their communities. It's illogical, but it's not unwarranted. Because, and this is just for me. If somebody was coming at me and they were going to snuff out my life, closer, and with each hashtag, they got closer and closer and closer to me. Of course, after a while, I started getting desperate, you know. And listen, these hashtags are a new phenomenon, but black violence is not. You know, the unjust killing of black people is not a new phenomenon. This has been happening since antebellum. So, if we can imagine, throughout history, just this person coming closer and closer and closer. And you think, in the land of the free and the home of the brave, somebody comes in and says, stop, knock that off. You're not allowed to do that. People who are protectors of peace, you may not do that. You know, people in power, you may not do that. You know, yeah. And nobody is coming because, you know, I guess we make a mistake of getting too angry for their comfort, America's comfort, you know. And it's really for me sad because I have friends all over every community, and I just I believe in the capacity of people to change. But as the hashtags keep coming and the excuses for doing nothing are so paltry as, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did some property damage. I lose a lot of faith and hope and will to continue to move forward with these foolish questions that are being asked. Do I agree that these people have done some pretty good property damage? Yes. I mean, I can't even say it was the right way to go about it. This is an insane situation. And to respond to it in a sane manner is just saying, okay, you know, we're asking you to respond to an insane situation in a sane manner. Why? What do we owe you? You know? But you just keep spinning that narrative of, I can't believe those thugs and criminals, you know, did a bunch of property damage and maybe knock some heads. We can't do that and also move forward. We have to give voice to our grief and our anguish, and we have to be allowed to do that in a space that people will hear us. And yeah, if we knew we were gonna get heard now, if this was the last straw, I think we would come to the table, and I think we would be okay. But this is not new. This is people. I mean, I think about my nephew. I think about my brother. I think about my friend Anton. You know, I think about me too. And the frustrating thing is that I think about me, and I wonder what people would say. You know. I wonder what people will say to um the loss of me. I mean, I would want some people to express some grief, whatever, however they felt, because I would just be another casualty, you know. This is, I think, what happens when we fail to do something. You know, our, the tragedy of Mr. Floyd's death will not be that there was a couple million of dollars of property damage done to that city. The tragedy of Mr. Lloyd's death won't be the burning down of a precinct and the loss of a target. The tragedy of Mr. Lloyd's death will be that nothing will be done. There will be no change. I wish we would stop asking stupid questions and start getting some real results. I would love to see the hashtag stop. And us to get some real police reform. And real conversations around racism. I mean, let us be